All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gather all the clips that I want to build this sequence. So I'm gonna use maybe, I was thinking about using, just to match what I did last week with the baseball throw. So I'm gonna have my character run and then stop, throw the baseball bat, and then maybe do a small wave. And then all those motions will be separate, and I'm gonna combine them inside inside story mode. So the first thing, I'm gonna go to Mixamo, and I'm gonna download a couple of mocap from there. So always remember to download using the same character that you uploaded to Mixamo. So for example, if you continue using this one, please use the same one from Mixamo because they have different scale. And depending on the character that you choose, it might scale the animation. So always choose the same character. So that's why I told you last time, save your characters inside like a character folder, so you know for sure that these ones are in T-pose and you're just slapping on animations on them. So I'm actually gonna save, before I start downloading, I'm gonna save this. If you remember, I made a folder called anims mixamo. So I'm gonna save it in here, batch, okay, color Sue this time, and the date. So I know it's this week. So 2/17, okay. I go back to Mixamo and forgot what was her name. So I think I typed female last time. Let's see if I can find her. Oh, there she is. So I'm gonna look for a run cycle. It's a little slow. Fast or maybe slow. Slow, I mean she's not running away from anything. She's just running, stopping, throwing. That looks fine. Alright, download. Without skin, so I don't need the skin is the mesh, so I don't need the skin. No keyframe reduction. And I'll download, if we can find a stop. Walk, strafe, female, stop and start. Might not find something like that. Maybe run stop. Maybe this one, I think. Yeah, this one's not bad. Is there something better? That's good. We'll use that one. All right, so now we have the two. in my downloads. Oh, still downloading. Okay, so now we have the run slow and run to stop. And does anybody remember how to import? Can somebody tell me?
You drag in?
Yeah. But first thing before, we need to switch the source to
None.
perfect. Because now what you're importing is the animation on the joints, not on the control rig. The control rig is what's in Motionbuilder. So we need to merge it with the joints in mind. Okay. So I'll merge like this, merge with options, always. Merge all and name this. Which one did I do first? Run to stop. Run to stop. It's 2. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. And second one. Merge options, merge again, and run. Or jot. It's okay, run is good. Okay, so now we have the 2 takes. We have the run, and we have the run stop, and we have the T-pose, which is this one and this one, I think. Yeah, it's okay. We can keep them both. So batch to yeah, save, and now we bake to control rig. Plot all because we want to bake all the takes in the scene. So now we have this stuff. Okay, good. Excellent. So before I exit this scene, there's one small step I need to do. So in story mode does not recognize different takes. Okay, it only recognizes one take at a time. So what we need to do with this scene is we need to save every take separately in a kind of a database folder. Think of it as like a folder where all the clips are separated per FBX, and then you use that to import into story mode. Okay, so thankfully Motionbuilder has a really cool feature where you can go save as, and then I'm gonna save it in here. I'm gonna save it in animation clips, okay? Because what you import in story mode is called clips, okay? So that's the reason why I created this folder last week. So I'm gonna double click here, and what I want to change is this one. So save one take per file. So what that will do is it will take each take in here and it will create an FBX file from each take. Okay, so right now it's empty. Actually, I'm gonna go to that folder. Excuse me. So see, there's nothing here. I'm gonna check this on and this on too. So use take name because it will create the FBX and call it run and run to stop. This name doesn't really matter, so you could just go save. right? We have these 4 takes. So now if we look in the folder, we have run separate and run to stop separate, and the other one. The other ones we don't need. We know that it's a T-pose, so we can delete this one. Okay, so now we're ready to import to story mode. So right now, if you go save again, it will always save the per take. So just make sure to start a new scene, okay? It's always better. After you do that step, just go file new scene to do a fresh scene. I'm gonna do the same thing with the keyframe version that I did last week. So it was in here. Hopefully I saved. We didn't spend too much time on the keyframe. It looks okay. It was just to get you guys comfortable if you have to keyframe something in Motionbuilder. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same. Go save as. See, this thing is still on, so it's fine. So I'm just gonna go clips. Save take per that. Save. So I don't need the T-pose, so I'm just gonna save this one, right? And now I went file new again, and now we can start the story mode. Okay, so I'm gonna open a new the T-pose character again. And I'm gonna save it as I'll put it in assembly and call it week, I believe 4, right? I don't need these anymore. Week 4. Small sequence of motions, minimum 3 that blends well together using story mode. Yeah, that's it. So week 4 story mode, story part 1, I think. Always increments. So I don't need to save the take anymore, so I can uncheck these because I finished my kind of saving all the clips separately, so I'm ready now to assemble. Okay. So story mode, it's right here. The tab is here. Don't worry about this section here. We might touch a little bit on it, but you can actually do this. You can hide it. Okay. So just drag it up so you gain a little bit of space. So in able to start putting clips together, you need to create a track. And what is a track? Is how do you create a track? Is in this gray area. You right click, insert, and you have here 3 options. Generic track is like a normal object, let's say a ball you animated or something. Character track is any character you have in your scene here, okay? So that's the one we need. And the camera track is any cameras we animate. We're probably not going to use the camera track that often, even this one, no. Most of the time we're going to use the character animation track. So I'm going to call, actually, that's one mistake I didn't do. I'm going to call my character Sue, just to keep you guys always remember to name your characters. Start like thinking about it because it's gonna get really messy very fast. My timeline is in timecode, so I'm gonna change that. to frames, and I'm gonna launch the keyboard shortcut before I forget. Okay, it's working. Okay, so now we created the character track. Nothing is assigned to it right now, so we need to assign a character. You see here character? This is the same drop-down kind of what you see here, okay? It's the same drop-down. So you just need to assign a character. We only have one character in the scene, so we just choose Sue. If you had more than one, we'll probably do that next week. You will get the option for more than one. Track content, do we need to, don't worry about this. Weight is, if we have time today, I can show you what the weight is, but I would like to spend the next hour just showing you how to blend clips. That's the most important thing. Okay, so we're ready to start assembling. If you have 2 takes, it's fine. You could start on take 1 and keep this one as T-pose, so we can rename it. T-pose, it's fine. So we'll start working with this take. So what's the first action that we want? I want her to run in, stop, throw, and then maybe do another gesture, maybe a wave or something like that. We'll grab the wave or the second one from the asset browser. So I'm gonna start importing the run. How do you import animations? Is you right click here on the track, go insert animation, and you go where the anim clips, the ones you saved separately, right? So we have the run. So I look in here, there's nothing. What's going on is the story mode hasn't been activated. It's this little button here. So by default, I think it's off. So all you need to do is activate it. Okay. When it's like this light blue means anything you put in this track will overwrite what's in the take. Okay, so right now the take has a T-pose, doesn't have anything. If you had an animation here, it would actually overwrite it. So just make sure when you start putting things together, make sure that that take is empty. There's nothing on it, because temporarily it's gonna overwrite it. Not permanent, but as soon as you click on this little button, it will overwrite what's underneath. So safest bet, just make sure you have a T-pose on this take only. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the run, beautiful run. I'm gonna put it to put it to the beginning, just slide it backwards to frame 0. So you can move this clip in space. So right now, this clip is starting almost at 0, 0. So this is 0, 0 of the scene right here. Okay. So let's say, yeah, she's running a little bit and she's almost to the edge of the grid. So you want her to start a little bit backwards. Or let's say there's a door in your layout and you want her to run specifically through the door. Okay. So how do you move this clip in, in 3D space? You have to turn this icon on. This like the Photoshop layers. It's just an eye. So if you click on it, then you see something in the in the viewport. If you don't see it, chances are you're in models only. So if you switch to X-ray or normal, probably X-ray is better, you will see a representation of the start frame and the last frame, okay? That's what that trajectory is. Excuse me. So as soon as you turn this on and you select the clip and you have position and rotation on, you can actually move it in space. You can move it, rotate it, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so I just moved it a little bit backwards. You can't scale it, so don't think about scale. Just move and, oh my God, did I mess it up? I think scale is really bad. Okay, yeah, don't scale it. I think I've done that before, or let's see, yeah. So I just deleted the clip and re-imported it. It's no big deal. So move and rotate. I'm just gonna push it back a little bit. So now she's running from that location. Okay. So a single clip. What can we do with a single other than move it in space? You can trim the frames inside Motionbuilder. And what is trimming is, how do you trim? Obviously, you can trim the first and last frame. So if you go to the last frame and put your mouse on the edge, you can trim the frames. See, now her last frame is this, okay? You don't necessarily lose that frame, so if you want to extend it back again, you just extend it. So I did something here interesting, is I extended it more than the actual clip. And because Motionbuilder has a really cool feature, is you can, when you save a clip separately, like a take separately as an FBX, and that animation is already loopable. By loopable, I mean the first frame. For those of you who are interested in games, the first frame and the last frame are the same, but obviously not the same in space. Because look, if I go in front view and I go to the first frame and last frame, it's the exact same pose, but not the same pose in space, right? So if I save this separately in a folder and import it into Motionbuilder and grab the end and extend it further, what it will actually do is it will loop the cycle infinitely. See? So I finished my last frame. When the second same clip starts, it loops it again and again and again, infinite numbers, how many numbers you want. So imagine, let's say you have a scene where a character is running down the street, he's jogging in the morning or whatever. That's how you can make it very easily. Okay? So you just save the run, you make sure the first and last frame are the same, and then you loop. Even if they're not the same, they're roughly the same, you can make them, you can make that cycle loop forever for whatever scene you have. So that's one function of the clip. What can you do with it? There's another function called scaling. So if you hover your mouse right on top of this icon, if you can see, it says loop and scale. So loop is by default. Okay, loop is this. This is you're looping the clip over and over again. if you click on it once, it changes the icon to scale. Okay? You have to be really careful with this. If you see scale, that means anybody want to answer? No? You're scaling the clip. Okay? So I'm just going to scale it a little bit. So what is happening now is I scaled the duration. So if you look in here, you will see this times 0.6. So it's 0.6 slower. Okay? So now she's running 0.6 or almost half the speed. And you can do the opposite. You can make it faster. So if you go down, think of it as you have less frames with the same distance. So she's going to go much faster. It's starting to look like Charlie Chaplin. So be very careful with the scale. Normally in animation, cannot scale up more than 1.2 or so 20%, not more 20% up and not more than 20% down. Because then it starts looking a little bit funky. Either too Charlie Chaplin or too much in water or 0G. So just keep that in mind. This is the function of this icon. By default, it's looping. The last icon I want to mention is this one. It's a Razer Tool. So what that does is it actually cuts the clip, okay? So what is an example? Where would you use that? So let's say you loop this clip 3 times. Right now, he is running in a straight line. So let's say your layout has the sidewalk has a little curve, you know. You want the character to run and on a curve. So that's where you can use this Razer tool. So you loop the cycle 3 times. Right now this is one whole clip, and then you start cutting those clips. See, it changes color, so now it's visual. You know that those are 2 different clips. Okay? So what do you do now? Let's say you can take this, the second clip, you just split. By the way, the colors are representative in the viewport if you have this on. So previous yellow, next green. So you take the second clip and you just give it a little rotation. You give it like 20 degrees. And then, see, he starts rotating. So what do? You do the same with the second one. Another 20 degrees. You can use the snap just to know how many degrees you snap the previous one. Don't do it like ad hoc like me. Just you can use the snap to make sure that you rotate the same degrees on each clip. So now what you end up with is a jog on a curve. It snaps a little bit on each one. So now it's a perfect introduction to blending. Okay, so these are the main functions you're going to use. So trimming, scaling, and the Razer tool. So talking about blending, you can actually take now this clip and start blending it into the previous one. Okay, so there's 2 kinds of blending. There's frame blending, or I can say first and last frame blending, and you can blend, or you can blend the whole clip. Okay, you have to, depending on the motion, you have to experiment to get the right effect. Okay, so I'll show you the frame blending. So if you hover your mouse over to the corner, to one of the corners, you will see like that green thing, the green corner light up to yellow. Okay, and even the icon changes. So just hold it and drag it over the previous clip. Okay, so what that did right now is it took the first frame of this clip and it starts blending it into the previous clip, just the one frame. So imagine you took like I can't really explain it better than that. It's just you're taking the frame one of this clip and you're kind of blending it percentage wise to the next one. So it goes from 0 to 100. So right here, this clip right here on this frame is affected 100% by this pose. So let's see what it looks like. So it kind of really works. I'll show you the difference if you took the whole clip and blended it into the previous. Okay, so if you put your mouse in the middle where it changes the icon, and you click and hold and drag, it looks a lot smoother, because what's happening here, this clip is still loopable, right? Because it's saved locally. So we took those frames that have the 20-degree rotation and we're blending it into the previous clip, which is the straight line. Okay, and what happens is, see, look, you can see the foot starting to rotate here. See, which is nice because it feels natural, like she's rotating on the ball of her on the ball joint, on the toes, right? So it feels like she's pushing off, and you know, by accident we chose the right foot to blend off, because you want to change direction on the planted foot. Like imagine if we were cutting or rotating the clip while she's in midair, it wouldn't be as good. You would see a lot of foot sliding. So keep that in mind. Use contacts to pivot and rotate. It always works better like that. And we could do the same thing here, right? So take the end of the clip and blend it backwards. So let's see what that looks like. Not bad. You can, I mean, if you want to be more picky, you can probably split half the clips here too and rotate these ones and go like 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees. But this is depending on your layout. It's each layout, each animation could be different. Okay, so that's the basics of blending in Motionbuilder. There's other stuff we can talk about, but there's a few other things that I want to show you how to match position-wise the clips inside Motionbuilder. Yeah, we can delete these. So we have now back to the one cycle, and I'll show you now how to import the second clips and match the positions of each clip to the previous clip. So I'm going to insert the stop because I want her to stop before the throw. Run to stop. So right now there's a big gap, as you can see, and she's stopping her first frame of stopping is a left pass, so her left leg is passing. Okay, so we need to look at the run and see it's actually right on, so it's the same foot, so it's gonna match perfectly. Let's say imagine your run cycle doesn't end on the passing. To get a really nice blend, you need to match the same poses. So imagine her her last frame wasn't passing. I would extend the clip to find the same pose as the stop. Okay, so in this case it would be, you know, double the loop, right? But imagine the let's say the left passing was here. I would stop the clip here. Anyways, I think you get the idea. But because it matches perfectly, I don't need to change the loop because the first frame of the stop and the last frame of the run is the same. Okay, so now I just need to match the position because she goes from here to here, and we want to continue the position wise where she is in world space. So what do? I select this clip, and there's a button here called match option. So don't click on the auto. Auto is a little bit buggy and I don't understand how it works entirely, but it's always better to do it manually. You click on match option, you select the clip and you click on match option, and then in here you get a bunch of objects. It's asking you, what do you want to match? Which object do you want to match? So always choose the hips, because the hips is the center of the motion. It's driving basically everything, driving the legs, the upper body. It's the parent. Okay, and it's where the most of the center of mass is, so it's driving all the action poses. So I'm going to drop this list here, and I'm going to choose hips. Hip, either this one or there's another one called Effector hips. Yeah, character control hips. It's okay, choose the first one because it's the closest one in the list. So in here, which clip do you want to match? You want to match to the previous clip, to the yellow one. Okay? And at what time? So you want to match at the end of the previous clip. So same thing, always if you choose end of previous clip, choose at the end of previous clip. You can also match to the next one. But for this one, let's just stick to the previous clip because we don't have a next one, so we can't choose it. And choose translation and rotation, because it will take the rotation and the position of the hips and tries to match it to the previous clip. Okay, so basic, keep everything at default here. Gravity, don't worry too much about gravity. We'll talk about it after, maybe if we still have time at the end. Okay, so what happened when I clicked OK? took the information that I put in the box, and it actually snapped it. It used the position of the hip from this frame of the previous clip and moved the clip in space to match it to that position and rotation of the hips on this frame, on the previous clip. So instead of, like, we could have, I'll click undo. We could have did what we did previously when we moved the clip. We could have took this one, made sure that this one is on, and then moved that like in space like this. But why try to estimate where the hips are going to be if we can use this button, right? It's basically the same principle. You're just moving the clip in space, but you're matching more accurately where the hips position and rotation was. Okay, so that's the advantage. Is you click on this hip effector, because I've chosen it already. It automatically detects the bone if you choose it already in here, and you click OK. See, it's kind of the representation of the last frame of the clip. So that's matching in a nutshell. So now you get this little pop. She goes up a little bit. So what can we do to fix this? We can either blend the blend the stop to the run or the run to the stop. So what I'm actually, because we can make this loop a little bit, right? I'm gonna take the run and extend it over a couple of frames, maybe 3 frames. Let's see what that looks like. See how smooth it is now? Because it's blending 100%, 50%, 0% on top of the stop. Okay? See that's without it, it's I have to make way too many frames. Let's see. So let's see, if you just want to play this section, I'm just gonna squeeze it down to this. See that pop without the blending, and with the blending it goes away. Cool. So we have the beautiful run and stop. I'll save. Now we can import our throw. Same idea. Insert animation file. Baseball throw. Wow, it's huge. It's probably saving the ends too. So what do we have now? How many frames? 139. Okay, so I'll just extend it a little bit and see what that looks like. And she's throwing the other way. So what do we want? We want her to throw this way. So we need to turn this clip. So let's try to use the matching. So select this clip, match, hips, to previous clip, at the end of previous clip, translation and rotation. So she's now throwing at an angle. So the rotation gave us okay result, but let's say we don't want her to throw on an angle. You could just take this clip. See, the reason it put the throw on an angle, it's because of the hips. So the hips have a rotation on this clip. See, the last frame. Whoops, sorry. This. So that rotation, if you choose the local pivot, that rotation is applied on this clip. That's why it's using the hip bone to match the rotation on this clip. So that's why you have that rotation on the clip. It's not a 90 degree. It's no big deal, because what you could do is you select this clip and you just rotate it, right? Like we did with the other ones. Rotation, make sure this guy is on, and then rotate a little bit like this. So now what do we get? We get this little pop that we need to blend into. Something, let's see if the feet are good at 0, 0, something I haven't checked. I always like to check, because sometimes when you match clips, like the source that's coming from has a little bit of offset, but not in this case. Okay. So we're just gonna blend. So what I want to blend here, I want to blend this pose into the settle of the stop. Okay. So how do I do that? I'm just gonna blend the one frame. I don't need to blend the whole thing. So I just want to blend that pose, the first pose on that clip, the first frame. So I'm gonna take the end and just push it over to this clip backwards. So now when she's settling into that frame, because we're now blending that frame on top. So I can play with this. So as she's going up, maybe I can blend it a little bit earlier too. See, as I'm pushing it, it changes because my current frame is here, it changes the value. So this is like applied, let's say 20% of that pose is applied on this frame. It's gradual, it's going up. So let's see what that looks like. I can maybe squeeze it down to here. Let's see what that transition looks like. It's not bad, right? Stop, blend, stop, and then throw. Good. Now the ending. I forgot that we didn't finish this pose into an idle, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. So let me save this, and I'm going to try to find in the previous moves. You guys should, does everybody have this folder locally? You should have it if you installed 2022. If somebody doesn't have it, please let me know now. So this folder is the samples folder. Oh, somebody's chatting. Yeah, everybody has it. Good. Okay. So this folder has a bunch of FBX files. Think of it as each FBX file has one take, like we just did when we saved the Mixamo stuff. Okay, so that's why we're able to drag and drop these files inside story mode. Okay, you could have dragged and dropped, by the way, the other stuff too. So if you went like this, run stop, it's okay, it's a little bit different. So you could drag and drop too. You don't have to go insert blah blah blah. As long as you save those files, each motion as one take and one FBX, you can drag and drop it. So these are the same idea. Backfist is one FBX with one take, and they're already characterized, so you can use them as is. Okay. I'm gonna choose maybe. So this looks like a punch here. I'm gonna try to find a punch that transitions back to idle and just finish this motion basically. Okay, so previous moves, back fist, this is not good. Back swing, no. Maybe box cross, let's see if that works. It's too high, so we need the left foot forward. Okay, box cross hook. That's really not that bad. I'm gonna leave this one. Box jab. Nope. Maybe a roundhouse. No, roundhouse is a kick. What am I talking about? Oh, no. Uppercut for sure, no, but I'm gonna try it anyway. No. There's swimming, there's clapping, holster, crawl is no good, dance, drink, fall. Let's see, I've never seen this one before. Actually, we might. Maybe jump punch. Let's see what that looks like. That's a Superman punch. That's two different. Maybe the, let's see, jump. There was a couple of falls, maybe fall forward. Let's see this one. Oh, these are all, he's getting hurt. There's a bunch of good ones here. If you have fun with it, have fun trying. For the assignment, you don't have, obviously you don't have to use the same ones. I just need a minimum of 3. So one from Mixamo, one from previous. If you want to match the keyframe assignment that you did, you could. But at least practice the previous moves folder and the Mixamo. Try to practice that so you guys are ready to combine all of this in a few weeks once we're back from March break. Punch combo. This is interesting. Let's see, maybe we can find something. It's on the spot probably. This could work. Let's see if this one works. Hi, Misha. You want to join me in my class? Okay, they can hear you. Yes. Let's see. Maybe here. Let's see. Somebody texting. My daughter just came back from school. Now we want the settle, right? We don't want the actual punch. We just want the settle. So maybe I'll try to match it here. But cheese. Okay. Let's see. Maybe. So I'll match first the position. Go with previous and she has a rotation. Yeah, I usually like to control the rotation. So just a tip, if you don't want to use the rotation that much, you don't have to, because you can rotate the clip to use the position, but not so much the rotation if you want, because it's always gonna put a weird rotation for you. Oh, he's going to the next frame because of the clip. This clip. What was this one? That might have been better, actually. Let's see what this one gives us. So obviously I want to keep this pose, the throw, a little bit, and blend it as soon as she starts settling. So this is the starting of the settle, right? She lifts off her right foot to settle. So I want to blend this pose to this clip. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's a little too fast. So let's see what that looks like on that section. Don't worry about the last clip. It's not bad. If you want to experiment with the blending, the nice thing about Story is you can duplicate this track and try something else. How do you do that? Is you select the track, the whole track like this one. You go Control C and then Control V. So you will have two tracks right now. So you want to mute this one because you don't want to. The Motionbuilder displays the last track available. Okay, so it always stacks those tracks. So you just want to mute this one for a little bit and experiment with the new one. Okay, so I want to delete this one and try this one. Okay, the jab, the hook, cross hook. So this one has a little bit of a better settle. So let's try this one and move it over here. It might look better. So match only position. Whoops, I didn't match anything. So match. I'm just going to use the hips. This one it should be the same. So it has a weird rotation here, which is not bad actually. So let me see without the blending what it gives. It has a big rotation here at the end. So let's see what happens if we take this rotation and kind of blend it over the follow through. Okay, so I'm gonna take this clip and just blend it over a little bit. Yeah, it's too much. I'm just gonna rotate this clip a little bit more forward so she doesn't really do that. Whoops, I'm rotating in local. I'm gonna switch to global. If you get stuck and you can't change, just change the translation rotation. For some reason it wasn't letting me. I can rotate this clip like this. So now what do we get? That's really not that bad. It has a nice, it slides a little bit. So for extra refinement, you can take this clip and just move it a little bit backwards. But always don't look at the feet. The feet can be fixed. Just look at the hips. What are they doing? Are they like following the motion, the momentum, everything? If they are, then you're golden. You can fix the feet after. So she's transferring the weight to the front leg, to this leg, so it's kind of looking okay. Let me see on the side. Maybe she needs to go a little bit forward. Okay. Maybe she goes too much now. Yeah, that looks good. So let's see what that looks like. 0 to 175. Double click on this to expand the whole thing. So run, stop, throw, and settle. Don't worry about the pose. We'll fix that afterwards on a layer. So 5 minutes left. So we learned about looping, scaling, using the Razer, using the matching to matching all the clips. So I like this one better. You can just keep this one in your scene and just mute it. You mute the story mode like this. So what do you do now? To get out of story mode and start editing, all you need to do is bake. Bake to, oops, make sure you're in full body. Select your character. And then go File, Bake, Control Rig, 3 dots, no key reducer, and bake. So now, when you bake, it will overwrite whatever's on this take. So if I turn off story mode, that T-pose is gone. Instead, it replaced it with this. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 3 or more motions. Have fun with it. Choose the previs, choose the mixamo, and I'm looking for smooth, as smooth, like the marks are gonna be basically how you use these new tools, you know? If you give me a lot of pops, like let's say between this clip and this clip he pops 2 meters, then I'm gonna deduct points. So the story mode is your building blocks for the previs. We're gonna be spending 3 weeks in it once you're building your idea. So it's really important to nail down these techniques. You know, the trimming, the looping, the cutting, the blending into each other, and the matching. It's super important. I can't stress it enough. Any questions before we break? No, I'll stop the recording.